Hi guys, welcome to today's session, and today we're going to discuss about Race to Zero campaign. And in this session we'll first discuss a brief about Race to Zero campaign, and then we'll discuss this Race to Zero campaign comes under the Climate Ambition Alliance. So we'll discuss a brief about Climate Ambition Alliance then, and finally we discuss the nationally determined contributions of India under Paris Agreement. So this is how I plan this session. Let's now start. The Race to Zero campaign aims to codify commitments made via Climate Ambition Alliance, which launched ahead of last year's COP25 in Madrid. It encourages countries, companies, and other entities to deliver structured net zero greenhouse gas emission pledges by the time the talks begin. And this was carried out under the aegis of UNFCCC. It seeks to emphasize the potential for non-state actors to raise climate ambition, and the campaign refers to these as real economy actors, noting they cover just over half the gross domestic product, a quarter of global carbon dioxide emission, and over 2.6 billion people. So that is a brief about the Race to Zero campaign. Now we discuss what is this Climate Ambition Alliance. So guys, a Climate Ambition Alliance currently includes 120 nations and several other private players that have committed to achieving zero net greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, and the signatories are responsible for 23% of current greenhouse gas emissions worldwide and 53% of global GDP. And this Climate Ambition Alliance will focus on nationally determined contributions in order to achieve net zero by 2050. It will focus in resilience in infrastructure, management of water, and sustainability of cities. And the main purpose of the alliance is to upscale 2020 targets of members of UN and to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050. And the minimum criteria for establishing a recognized pledge were developed through dialogues coordinated by Oxford University. And the pledges must include a clear net zero target date, not later than 2050. They must also begin immediately and include interim targets. Much like the Paris Agreement, the criteria are designed to strengthen over time, but they begin at a level that reflects current best practices. So that is all about the Race to Zero campaign and Climate Ambition Alliance. And we have mentioned in our lecture about the Paris Agreement and nationally determined contributions. We'll discuss few words on nationally determined contributions of India. NDCs in general, the countries communicate actions they will take to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions in order to reach the goals of Paris Agreement. And countries also communicate in the NDC actions they will take to build resilience to adapt the impacts of rising temperatures. And there will be long-term strategies, that is to better frame the efforts towards the long-term goal. Paris Agreement invites countries to formulate and submit it by 2020, that is long-term low greenhouse gas emission development strategies. And this long-term low greenhouse gas emission strategies provides them the long-term horizon to the NDCs. That unlike NDCs, they are not mandatory. Nevertheless, they place the NDCs into the context of countries' long-term planning and development priorities, providing a vision and direction for the future development. And we'll now check what are India's NDCs, that is nationally determined contributions under Paris Agreement. And India had submitted its NDC in 2015, and there are three quantitative goals that are first one is a 33 to 35% reduction in GDP emissions intensity by 2030 from 2005 levels, and a 40% share of non-fossil fuel based electricity by 2030. And the major one is creating a carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide through afforestation programs. So these are three NDC quantitative goals of India. It's a very important one, especially in mains answer writing. You can use this data. It will add a weightage to your answers. and this race to zero campaign can be asked in the prelims also. So please study about this, guys. And that's all for today. We'll meet tomorrow with another topic. Thank you for watching this lesson.